America is a land of diversity, a nation that has always valued the principles of religious freedom and respect for the rights of all people, regardless of race or faith. And our nation's sense of justice and equality is reflected in CAIR's mission and vision. In Texas, when 14-year-old Ahmed Mohammed was taken from his school in handcuffs merely because he brought a homemade clock to class, CAIR was there to support Ahmed as outrage over his unjust treatment spread, even to the White House.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for making it out today. My name is Alia Salem, and I'm here to introduce to you Ahmed Mohammed and his family and his legal representation.
For every case that makes the news, hundreds more do not. The CAIR Dallas-Fort Worth office has seen a 100% increase in cases between 2014 and 2015, falling in the categories of employment, government, prison, and schools. Justice prevailed when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of Samantha Alouf, a Muslim woman who sought to wear a religious headscarf as an employee of Abercrombie & Fitch. Alouf's case began when she reported the company's discriminatory actions to CAIR's Oklahoma chapter. As we witnessed that legal victory, our community also saw increased civic and political empowerment, another part of CAIR's mission, in the form of the first ever Unified National Muslim Advocacy Day on Capitol Hill, which was sponsored and coordinated by CAIR's staff. Some 280 delegates from more than 20 states met with elected officials and staffers in 200 congressional offices. CAIR's civil rights work is increasingly being recognized by leaders of minority and civil rights organizations. With increased effectiveness and successes come new challenges. The past year also saw the rise of the twin evils of extremism in the Muslim world and of Islamophobia in America. When Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump said to ban Muslims from entering the United States, CAIR took the lead in challenging his Islamophobic views.
I think for a presidential candidate, and especially one that's in the lead, I think it's deplorable that he would even dream of saying that we would bar an entire religious group of individuals from entering into the United States, albeit legally, because of this perception that he's trying to circulate that Muslims and Islam is the problem here and not extremism and terrorism. I think it's absolutely disgusting.
In Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 3 of our community's best and brightest were murdered execution style by a man who had harassed the victims in the past and expressed anti-Muslim views. A CAIR delegation traveled to North Carolina to help the community respond to the tragedy and to begin the healing process. In states nationwide, we witnessed growing efforts to target or exclude American Muslims. A number of businesses went so far as to declare themselves Muslim-free zones, and CAIR responded with legal and educational initiatives. On Christmas Eve in Dallas, a mass shooter opened fire on employees and customers at Omar's Wheel and Tire Shop, screaming anti-Muslim slurs. The shooting left a 25-year-old customer, Enrique Garcia Mendoza, dead, and employee Mahar Youssef critically wounded, and several others wounded by the spray of bullets. CAIR Texas called on federal authorities to investigate this as an act of domestic terrorism and put intense pressure on law enforcement and the district attorney's office when the suspect, Anthony Therese, was released on bail twice after committing additional acts of violence. The morning after CAIR's press conference, federal authorities reapprehended the suspect, denying bail. In Kansas City, a 15-year-old Muslim was murdered when he was run down by a vehicle that had once been painted with anti-Islam slurs. Nationwide, we saw a disturbing rise in anti-Muslim sentiment and incidents, including an armed rally outside an Arizona mosque.
The Islamophobia movement this year has spiked tremendously. We've seen within the past year a tremendous increase in the level of anti-Muslim sentiment in our society.
CAIR detailed all these incidents and incitements in briefing papers and in a new Islamophobia.org website, designed to be a resource for those seeking information on the growing phenomenon of anti-Muslim hate.
We launched Islamophobia.org for two main reasons. One, accountability. People who are bigots, everybody should know about it. Two, when Islamophobia comes to your neighborhood, we wanted you to have access to facts, ideas, information that'll help you push back against it.
CAIR also tackled the issue of countering violent extremism and offered strategies that would not stigmatize American Muslims and ignore rising right-wing extremism in our nation. CAIR's actions in support of justice were not limited to the Muslim community. CAIR also stood with the Sikh, Christian, and Jewish communities when they were targeted by hate, including when 9 worshipers were gunned down in a South Carolina church.
The Dallas-Fort Worth chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations held a candlelight vigil remembering the 9 victims murdered when a man opened fire inside an AME church.
To strengthen CAIR's civil rights and advocacy work and to enhance Muslim civic engagement, we expanded Muslim youth leadership programs nationwide and launched the Muslim Game Changers Network, a comprehensive 4-month social justice training program for Muslim high school students.
My message to Muslim children nationwide: you have the right to dream like everyone else. You have an equal space in America. You have an equal opportunity. Build clocks, invent, be all you can be as an American Muslim.
With new successes, challenges, outreach, and coalition building came statements of support and encouragement from community leaders, scholars, and academics.
You need to have an organization that is not only out there for you, but one that has the kind of track record that CAIR has built up, so that when CAIR calls, whether it's a government agency or wherever, people know that they need to make a response.
CAIR is an ideal facilitator in bringing together diverse voices and different activists simply because CAIR is viewed to be the most active and the most respected national platform.
We are in an information-intensive battle for the civil rights of the Muslim community.
CAIR is our voice in the halls of Capitol Hill to make sure that legislators understand what are the issues that are impacting us, but also what are the solutions.
CAIR is one of those vehicles where the story gets out and people understand what's happening to others who are less fortunate or who don't know how to navigate the system to get justice.
You've seen the amazing work that CAIR chapters across the country and right here at home have been producing on your behalf. In the last 2.5 years, we've witnessed CAIR-DFW go from being almost non-existent to being a true force to be reckoned with in the areas of civil rights, social justice, meeting engagement, and community empowerment. In 2015, our community saw some of the most difficult challenges we've ever had to face, and we don't see those challenges easing up anytime soon, especially with the rhetoric that we're seeing from elected officials and politicians alike. Now is the time to invest meaningfully in the work that we're doing so that we can give our community the CAIR chapter that it truly deserves.